What is going on, everybody, and welcome to part 4 of Zipline local installation, back testing, and all that fun stuff tutorial series. In this tutorial, what we're going to be doing is talking about how we can set up a custom trading calendar in order to trade in markets that aren't necessarily the New York Stock Exchange. So first of all, what I want to do is let's go into our main Zipline directory here, go into Utils, Calendars, and then in here, we can just pull up the nice calendar, since that's the one that is the default one anyway. So in here, we can see that there's all kinds of stuff going on here. They're pulling in holidays and more holidays. And then if we scroll on down to here, we can see what time early closes, if there is one. We can see when we open, it's 9:31. We can see they close at 4 p.m. Also, we can see the time is U.S. Eastern. Here we're using some holiday information and then regular early close on some other random days. Okay, so that is the trading calendar that is by default the one that is used. Now, what if you don't want that? What if you're trading on a different market? Well, there's quite a few other markets included here by default, just in your installation. Another probably pretty close to what we're looking for with like a 24-hour trading calendar would be the U.S. futures, which in this case, even though on Quantopian, they're not a 24-hour calendar, for some reason, from what I can visually tell here, looks like they close at 1800 and open right back up at 1801 minute. Therefore, sounds like it's 24 hours. Not really sure if they're doing something else here, but anyway, this is pretty close. But yeah, if you wanted to trade U.S. futures, great. They also have the TSX here, the LSE, they've got the CME. So they've got some other markets here, but I don't see like the Australian Stock Exchange, for example. So definitely if you have another market that you wanted to trade, you'd want to be able to make a custom calendar. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm actually just going to copy paste here, and I'm going to call this file exchange calendar, and I'm going to instead call it calendar underscore 24HR. So just 24-hour calendar. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up in Sublime. I'm going to pull it on over here, and this is going to be the calendar. I'm actually just going to use the text-based version of this tutorial and copy and paste in the code. I don't really see why we would write this all out ourselves. So I'm going to just take this, copy, here, paste. And what we have here is the 24HR. It's a trading calendar type. And then here's the information. Very simple calendar. Basically, it opens at midnight, closes 1 minute before midnight, and repeats Monday through Sunday. Really simple. So that is our calendar that we want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. I'm going to close out of that. Again, all that code is in the text-based version of the tutorial. Just like I said, I don't really see any value in us writing all that out. Now, what I want us to do is talk about the data that we're actually going to use. So let me pull up the data set that I'm going to use in this example. So like I've been saying in this series, if you've got a different data set that you want to use, by all means, use your own data set. We're going to use the btcusd.csv file. So that is, I'm trying to find it. See if I can pull it up. Here we go. So this is what that file looks like. So as you can see, it's actually in Unix time, and then it has low, high, open, close, and volume data. Great. It's every minute data. We can see that every 60 seconds we have a new value and all that. So first what I'm going to do is show you how I'm loading this into a data panel. Because with the Quantopian data, we're relatively comfortable in believing that that data is pretty well maintained data. But when it's your own data or it's coming from some other API and it wasn't built to be used with the Zipline backtester, there might be other things you need to think about. So I'm going to point some of those out. So let's talk first about loading this data in as soon as I find where I'm trying to work. And again, all of this is code that you should be familiar with, so I don't see any value in us handwriting it out. So first I'm just going to talk about the code. So I'm going to copy and paste it in. Again, just go to the text-based version of the tutorial. So basically, yeah, we're just going to read it in. I need obviously these imports here, but that's okay. I'm just not going to run this until we're done. I read in the Bitcoin CSV. I'm converting that time, that Unix time, to a date time format. We are specifying that it is indeed UTC time zone. We set the index to the date. We drop that initial time column. You don't really have to do that, but I'm just going to do it. Then I'm going to resample by 1 minute. And you might be thinking, well, why are you doing that? This data was already in 1 minute format. Well, I'm so glad you asked. So the reason why we're doing that is like, what if, so like for example, this data is pulled from an API in real time. What if that API goes down for a few minutes? Well, there's going to be a gap. And so there's going to be at some point when we're trying to simulate this trading environment where Zipline is going to be like, okay, what was the price for this time? And then it's not going to have a value. And then you're going to break. So what we want to do is we want to ensure that this is 100% minute data. So we're resampling to 1 minute. And if there is any not a number information in certain gaps, we're going to use a forward fill. So if the exchange goes down, we're going to say, hey, the price was whatever the last known price was. It's just going to flatline until the exchange comes back online again. So hopefully nothing happens in that time other than maybe if you were experiencing slippage, you might fill orders or something like that. But other than that, this seems to be the best way to handle for that. Once we've done that, we're just specifying that data BTC is, again, just low, high, open, close volume. It doesn't need to be necessarily in that exact order. I just literally used this list here and then put quotes around it. So that's why I just went with that order. So from there, we print the head. We actually don't really need to be doing that. Then convert it to a panel. Again, if you had multiple kind of tickers, you could envision how you might actually convert this to string formatting, iterate over it, and all that. But I already showed you how to do that in the last tutorial. I'm not going to do it again. So now let's talk about the actual trading strategy that we might use. And in fact, I think what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste the full code up to this point. So I'm going to copy, paste that in. And in fact, actually what we need to do is first, let's load _ext zipline. And then we'll paste in the code. And now, this is basically our strategy. It's just a simple moving average crossover strategy. No, nothing really serious here. Then we load in, convert data to a panel, and then we run the algorithm. Now, we don't want to run this on the New York Stock Exchange because it opens and closes and has holidays and blah, 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 blah. We want to load in via our own script. So the way that we're going to do that is first at the very tippity top, we want to import the calendar that we want to use. So I'm just going to, I guess, just throw it right here. So from zipline.utils.calendar, this is .exchange _cal, let's see, it was like exchange, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. This one, it's a long name to type, so I don't feel like it. So from that calendar, I want to import, it was 24HR. So that's our 24-hour calendar object. So just in case someone forgot from 5 minutes ago, we're just going to edit this real quick. Boom. We're just importing that trading calendar object. So then, once we've imported that, we're ready to use it. So down here in our run algorithm, we're just going to pass one more variable here, and that's going to be trading _calendar. And that is equal to, there's a bunch of different things you can do. A lot of times you're going to see this get calendar, and then you can specify something like nice or something like that if it was a registered calendar. In our case, we didn't go through registering a calendar because we're not using a data bundle, and otherwise, without that, I'm not sure why you would ever register one. Someone can let us know why, but anyways, 24HR. Don't forget, you want it to be a calendar object, not like a pointer to the class, so don't forget to create the object with the empty parms. And we should be good to go. So with that, let's go ahead and run this. And in fact, let's run this and make it much shorter. So let's just do 325. Let's go ahead and run that. We forgot our comma here. Run it again. Great, and we're off. We should get something pretty quickly. I'm going to say perf.head, so this will print out when it's done. And then we could graph things. Again, I don't see much value in rewriting out graph code that you should already understand. This is %change, basically. It's just a long way of doing it. And boom, that's the performance of our 1 day of minute trading, the simple moving average crossover of Bitcoin using a custom trading calendar of 24 hours. Now, you might be wondering, hey, what gives? This is still daily. I thought we were doing minute data. Well, no matter what time frame you use, the performance data frame is returned to you in daily values. I don't think I really like that. I wish that we could customize this, but we cannot. Not easily anyways. I think there should be a parameter like in here and say like return daily or return, I don't know, data frame equals daily or minute or something, or return time, and you could specify what granularity that time should be. Because what they're doing in the back end in Zipline, and I know this because I tried to look into it and see if I could change it, is they resample your data frame. Now they're doing that probably because if it's like, especially if you did like years of minute data, that would be a rather large data frame, but not that big to be honest. And then the only issue would be if you went to go graph that data frame, if you didn't resample sometimes and change the granularity, it would be a lot to throw up to a graph and it would be kind of lagging to your computer probably. But it is what it is. It's daily data. Possibly in the future, I will show you guys how you could go about changing that, because I really do think like this is a perfect example. I'd like to see the intraday information there. I mean, even if you don't log minute by minute, because that would be like, what, 60 times 24 a day, little points. But for like one day, that's totally fine to throw up all that information on one graph. But you wouldn't even you could resample it to 5 minutes before graphing it. You could resample it to 1 hour before graphing it, and so on. So I kind of feel like that might be the next part in the series if I get to it, but don't expect it to be coming anytime soon. If somebody else wants to do it and post how they did it, that's great. I've seen a few things on on GitHub with requests and stuff like that, with issues that people have posted, some solutions to do it. I'm not really sure the best way to go about doing it, but anyway, you can just not resample the data frame. That's a good start. I just wouldn't recommend graphing it right after. But anyway, that's it for now. That's how you can do a custom trading calendar. In our case, we just did 24 hours, but you could come up with all kinds of ways. You'd have to get kind of fancy if you want to simulate holidays and stuff like that. But there are people who have posted up examples of all kinds of different trading calendars. So you might be able to find that someone's made one for your use case. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, whatever, especially if you have an answer for how we can more easily change this to minute, this performance data frame to be an actual minute. Wait a minute. Oh no, that's our panel. I was like, wait, what's going on? No, anyway, if we can change this to minute data more easily, it's in the run algorithm.py, I believe. You can even see there's like the code where they resample it. You could just remove that. I'm not sure that's the best way to go about it. I really think you'd want to add one more parameter in here that specified what the resample ought to be, and then have it just default today. So I think that's probably the way I would do it, and then I'll maybe submit a pull request for them to change that. But anyways, that's it for now. If you guys have enjoyed this content, this kind of series and stuff, you can support it at pythonprogramming.net/support. This is my full-time job, and I get all my support from viewers like you. That's all for now. I will see you all in another tutorial.